everyone, it's Chris here again, and I'm going to show you the progress on Expand for this week. So I'll just start off by running the game, and this week I'm going to run it in full screen mode, just for a little bit of a difference, and it looks a little bit nicer in full screen too. And so this week I worked on several things. The first thing I worked on was being able to reload scripts in Lua, and being able to enter your own custom scripts. So for example now, if I reload this script, you'll notice that the player jumps back into the middle. And on top of that, I can enter level1.lua and it will jump to there. So level 1 is a demo that I showed off at ARG a few weeks ago. I also made a few other modifications to the scripts, and so I'll just get a script up now. And what you can now do is you can now control things like the player, the camera, the center circle, the outer circle, and the factory that you can use to create text and sectors and all that sort of stuff. All that stuff is now in global scope in the scripts, which means I don't have to pass in the content to each of the functions. So I can now reference player, or I can reference loader, whenever I want to. On top of that, I made the sensors scriptable, and I can show you them in a second. And I added circular sensors as well, not just polygon-based sensors where you specify each of the individual points. I also added a function here, which is called endLevel, and that is when you reach the end of the level. I might actually make that part. I might actually add the ability to pass in a script to say which is the next script that you want to call. In there, I'm not sure at the moment, but at the moment it just cycles through sort of a series of scripts, which is what each of the levels will be represented as in the final game. And so I will jump back, and I'll quickly talk about the other thing I worked on this week, which was improving the way I handle fonts. So I had a small bug with the way that fonts were handled, and so now that's fixed and the game loads faster when I have lots of fonts. That was because I was accidentally miscounting the number of times the font had loaded, and I ended up in a scene like this, for example, I was loading in maybe 20 times as much font data as I needed to, and so it was drastically slower. So you can see the circle sensors here, just around the edge, and I can sort of make responses to them as well. And so what I'll do is I'll turn that off, and I'll just push space, which is the confirm button, and that'll call my script, and then the script will move along to the next level, which is the ARG demo level that I generated for ARG. So what I'll do at the moment is I'll just sort of play that for a little bit, and I'll run through what I'm going to do next week. I suspect that the frame rate will drop a little bit because I'm recording this through QuickTime, which is really not made to work well with OpenGL context. And so it might drop a little bit, but when I play it normally, there's no problems. And so what I plan to work on next week is there are a few other bugs that I need to fix up at the moment. For example, when I move the player, when the player starts from the bottom of the screen, some of the controls are inverted, which is rather annoying because it makes playing a little bit more difficult. I also need to handle dying and the timeline still. I'm trying to figure out the way I want to present the menus and the layout and the animation when the player dies. So that's going to take a little bit of thinking about the best way to handle that doesn't sort of interfere with the gameplay too much and doesn't distort it. All I really want is a simple solution there. And on top of that, I also want to just continue to fix some of these bugs and start to generate a little bit more content for the game. But it's going to take me about another week or two to sort of nut out a few more of the scripting things that I want to finalize, and a few more of the sort of level designs that I want, and any features that I need to support the level designs. So one of those, for example, is the ability to move sensors around dynamically via the scripts. So, for example, there might be a scene where you need to chase down a sensor, or the sensor moves as the player moves and stuff like that. And so I want to get those abilities in just before AvCon, so I can about a month before AvCon, so I can start to generate content using them. So yeah, that's all for this week. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you'd like to keep up with the progress of the game, then you can follow my blog at blog.cjohnson.id.au. And I just found a bug, so that's probably a good place to end. Get center circle. Not sure what that one is, but I'll hopefully fix it by next week. So thanks for listening, guys. Ah, I know why. That script needs to be updated because I no longer that's the center circle is now in the global scope, so that method's been removed from um, that method's been removed from my level loader, which was being called from. So I can now fix that up. This is the problem with the scripts is because they're not compiled that I might have an error in my scripts that the only way to discover is to run through the script until I stumble upon the error. Cool, I can fix that one up now. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.